Hey everyone, AceFangirl here, back with another vlog about things that I want to talk about. So I ran a poll, and it was between anime recommendations or this Voltron thing that I've been tweeting about for the past few days, and the Voltron thing won. And I'm not sure if it's because people don't know what Voltron is, or because they want to hear me talk about it. I honestly couldn't tell you, but today I am here to talk about Voltron. What is Voltron? Some of you may not know. Voltron, I believe the full title is Voltron Legendary Defender. It is a show on Netflix that is animated, I think it's by DreamWorks, and it's a reboot of a show that was around in the 80s of the same name. In this show, which has been going on for a year and a half, maybe? I forget. There are 5 humans who are chosen, for lack of a better word, to pilot different colored lions, which can form a giant robot called Voltron in order to fight off the evil Galra Empire who is trying to take over the galaxy. And, you know, that's just bad. So, they're not very good people, so Voltron has to fight them off. And how I got into the show because of, well, the same way I get into a lot of shows that I watch, because of Noelle, who absolutely fell in love with it. And she recommended it to me, and when I went over, she was like, you gotta sit down and watch this show. Like, I promise you're gonna like it, just sit down and watch it. And I was like, really? Like, it's about robots and space, and that's not like really my thing, but I'll sit down and I'll watch it with you. And it was phenomenal. Like, it was really good. And we started watching it back when only season 1 was out, and it kind of starts off with just the 5 paladins, Shiro, Lance, Keith, Pidge, and Hunk, and then they're not guardians, I was gonna say guiders, but I don't think that's a word. People who guide them. Allura and Koran, kind of getting to know each other, learning how they work with each other, and basically overcoming their own insecurities and their own inabilities to work well together to be able to seriously work on saving the galaxy. And the first season's it's really good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's kind of more about establishing the characters, establishing the relationships between the characters, and it was just a really good baseline. And of course there's enough action and like enough humor, because it's from DreamWorks and it's really funny, to, you know, keep you invested. And I'm gonna try not to spoil too much, because it is something that you should really go watch on your own. I know it's marketed towards children, but honestly, I think the only good criteria for a show for me is great character development and a great story, the same thing I look for in my video games, and Voltron has both in spades. So I definitely can recommend it. The second season came out last year, and it was amazing. Like, I stayed up watching it, because for me it came out at like 3 a.m. because it was midnight here, and it was just great. It was more of the same, really, but they went deeper into a lot of the characters, which was really cool. And we got a closer look into Keith, Lance, pretty much everyone, really. And the season ended on a huge cliffhanger, and so all of the fans were in an uproar about how it ended, and we weren't sure, you know, when the next season was going to be, but the next season, season 3, just came out this past Thursday. Actually, it would have been a week from today. Or, well, it was Friday night. We watched it Thursday to Friday at midnight, if that makes sense. I don't know. This vlog is really scattered, I'm sorry, but I didn't really plan this out. I kind of just wanted to stream of consciousness about Voltron. Season 3, I thought was really good overall, in that it gave us a lot of backstory about how the original Paladins of Voltron came about, and like how Voltron was made, and like what happened to turn the main bad guy like super evil, which is something I'm always interested in these kind of like superhero-esque stories. Like, the backstories of the villains are super interesting to me. And of course we got a new villain in this season, who's kind of hot, and he has an awesome girl squad of fighters, and I was like, yeah, girl squad, but I'm like, oh wait, they're evil, I'm not supposed to be cheering for them. But, I mean, the main thing was, and here's where we'll get into spoilers, because I want to talk about season 3. what we talked about the next day, once we were all awake, because I totally fell asleep during the show and I had to watch it when I woke up the next morning, I felt like this season was kind of more not as focused on actual content and more about build up for the next season, which does admittedly come out in about 2 months. Friday the 13th of October is when season 4 is going to happen. I think it's going to be another 7-episode season. But it was a lot of build up, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and it was establishing a lot of conflict. Like, because of events that happened in season 2, Keith was forced to take over the leadership position from Shiro, but since Shiro came back, but since Shiro came back near the end of the season, it was kind of interesting to see them interacting, because in a way Keith looks up to Shiro like so much, but I mean, Keith had kind of come into his own as a leader, and with Shiro back and trying to give orders again, I feel like it kind of did a blow on Keith's like slowly building self-esteem as a leader. Shiro had disappeared at the end of the last season. Okay, we're getting into spoilers now. Screw that try not to spoil thing. It's going out the window. Shiro had disappeared at the end of last season. He disappeared from his lion and ended up on a Gawler ship somehow. We still have no idea how that happened. But, he said he doesn't remember how he ended up there. It must have been something to do with the evil guy whose name is Zarkon, who was the original paladin of the Black Lion. The Black Lion is kind of the leader of Voltron, and it forms the head, so it's like super important. And so Zarkon still kind of has a connection with the Black Lion, so that may have had something to do with it. But long story short, Shiro disappeared. And so, because of that, everyone kind of, not everyone, but some people kind of shifted around lions. Like, Keith went from the Red Lion to the Black Lion because Shiro kind of appointed him as his successor in case anything happened, which is weird. But then Lance took over the Red Lion, and Allura actually got to pilot a lion. More on that in a bit, because I have strong feelings about that. But, I don't know. I just kind of, I think it's going to be interesting having, because now we have one too many paladins. Like, there's 6 paladins and there's only 5 lions. So who's gonna get to pilot? But the thing is, when Keith offered to stay back and give Shiro the Black Lion didn't accept him. I think it's accepted Keith as the leader. So I don't think Shiro has a lion anymore. But, here's the thing. So, hi. So while Shiro was captured on the Gawler ship, it looked like they were making a bunch of clones of him for some unspecified reason. So what Noelle and I are theorizing is that they're going to try and use the clones to take back the Black Lion because they think that the Black Lion will still respond to Shiro, which right now it's not. But what I think is that I think this Shiro that came back might not actually be Shiro. It may be one of the clones who doesn't necessarily have any malicious intentions, but just doesn't know that he's not the real Shiro. Because the Black Lion didn't respond to him, and we saw that the Black Lion clearly has a very strong bond with Shiro, even stronger than the bond it had with Zarkon, as evidenced by the events of the end of season 2. But the Black Lion didn't respond to him at all, which I think is a little bit odd. Since we've clearly seen that the Black Lion has ties to more than one person, we can't just say that, oh, it chose Keith, so now it can't choose Shiro anymore. That's not the case. So what I think is that it's possible that this could be a clone. And we were talking about it also because we said he's being a little bit too normal. Like, honestly, this is his second time being captured by the Galra, second time being held captive on a ship, like, and then second time having to freaking escape from them and live through a life-harrowing experience. Like, shouldn't you be suffering a bit from that? But, like, nah, he's chill. Like, he's cool, pretty much. He just immediately stepped back up and started giving orders, even though he's been gone for question mark amount of months because his hair got really long and he had, like, a goatee and beard, but they didn't say how long it's been. So, I guess those are the main points that I'm looking forward to seeing them address in season 4, especially the excess of paladins, because as Lance pointed out, when Allura took over the Blue Lion, because we needed someone to pilot the Blue Lion, so Allura was just like, I'll do it, and she bonded with the lion like pretty quick, after she realized what she needed to do, which was ask for help, which is something that Allura is not very good at. So once she was like, hey, I need you to help me, that was when the Blue Lion really bonded with her. And so Lance is concerned because now Shiro's back, Shiro's gonna want the Black Lion, Key's gonna want the Red Lion. Allura made a huge amount of progress with the Blue Lion, more progress than, or not maybe more progress than Lance has made, but faster. And so he's concerned that there's not gonna be a lion for him. And we'll figure that out later, I guess, but I don't know, like, I feel like maybe Shiro won't get back in a lion, especially if this is not the real Shiro. We don't know. Season 4 is going to be interesting because they did leave a lot of things unexplained and a lot of things open. Why is the villain's son actively fighting his own troops in order to do his own thing? Like, he's just chilling. He's like, yo, I'm gonna do my own plan over here. Like, don't mind me. I'm just gonna attack my own troops and take the stuff. Who is the person that Keith saved from the one creature whose name I always forget that he had to go to last season? It's clearly one of the girl squad, but like, do they have a relationship? Like, who is, I hope it's Keith's mom. But, we don't know that yet. What else can I talk about? What else can I talk about? Why you should watch Voltron. You should go watch Voltron right now. Because A, the episodes, except for the very first episode, are like 20 minutes, so it's not going to take you a long time to get through. You can just turn it on in the background. If you liked, you know, the shows like Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra, like that kind of stuff, you are going to like Voltron. Because I feel like it kind of comes from the same vein. Like, it's about friends and people growing together as they take interesting journeys and try and save the world. Or in this case, the universe. I don't know. Also the guys are hot. I mean, what? Nothing. I'm really excited to see where they're going with this, but I am scared that it's only another 7-episode season because I feel like this season just wasn't complete. I feel like they left too much open even just to justify building up for another season that's coming out in 2 months. There's a lot of holes that need to be filled. And I think there's gonna be 7 seasons total. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But they have a lot to do, especially with everything that happened at the end, where we've seen that the main baddie who was taken out for this season, he's coming back. So what are going to be the dynamics between him and his son? Because clearly they have very different plans, and who's going to win and who's going to rule the Empire. What's up with the witch lady that is Altean, and now we found out that she's Zarkon's wife, and she apparently forgot that somehow? Like, question mark? How do you just forget that you're someone's wife? I'm not sure. Is that actually her biological son? They never talked about them having a kid. Maybe it's not hers. I don't know. She looked a little bit old by the time she got raised after the quintessence, so I don't know. There's so many questions that they have to answer, and I'm really, really excited for the next season, even though I'll be at school, but Noelle and I will be watching it at the same time and talking to each other, I'm sure. If you have any questions about or really want me to advocate for Voltron more, put them down there, but please, for me, go watch Voltron if you have a Netflix. I promise you, you will not regret it. It is one of the best shows that I've ever seen, and it only has more room to grow. So I probably didn't do a very good job of talking about all of my feelings because this is kind of just like a giant stream of consciousness because, I don't know, that's how I do my vlogs, let's be real. So, yeah. I think that's gonna be it for this time. So stay tuned for new episodes of everything coming out in the upcoming days. And I guess I can also say that my summer will be over in about 2 weeks, which is terrifying. And uploads may be a little bit sporadic while I'm in the moving in and beginning my last year of classes process. So bear with me while I go through that, but I'm going to try and keep it as constant as I can. I will be continuing the summer schedule until all of the projects are completed, and then I'll decide what I'm going to do. So, with that being said, go watch Voltron, please. Let me know what you think. If you are a Voltron fan, put it down in the comments. I want to know your favorite characters. I want to know what you think. Theorize down in the comments. Just mark your spoilers if you put them, because you know, I didn't do a very good job of doing that. I probably have to put something at the beginning of this video. So, I think that's it. So, I will see you in whatever video you decide to watch next. Bye!